we started with unit 1, and today we are now at the end of unit 1. I think 3 points are left of unit 1, that is BOP, that is balance of payment, then emerging challenges for international finance, and credit rating agencies. Let me start with the balance of payment. I am sharing screen with you. Are you able to see a screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first, let's understand that what is balance of payment. You might have heard in newspaper also while reading, if you are reading Economic Times, or if you are watching news, business news, or maybe in budget also, when budget was presented on 1st of February this year, this month. So that time also they had mentioned about balance of payment, and frequently you might have heard the word deficit and surplus. Deficit and surplus. Did you heard this word deficit and surplus? Yes, have you heard this word deficit and surplus? So whenever we talk about the economical condition of a country, in that context, BOP is one of the crucial area where everyone would like to know about balance of payment. Now, what it is? Balance of payment, it is the systematic record of economic transactions between a resident of country and with the rest of world. I repeat, it is the systematic record of economic transaction between a resident of country and with the rest of world. Now, resident of country, like say, take example myself. So I am having economic transaction with, say, if I am dealing with Japan country. So between Japan and myself, there is economic transaction. So I might be rendering some services to Japan. If I am rendering my services to Japan, so naturally, in turn of that services, what will be there? Can you guess? If I am rendering services to Japan country, in turn of that, what will be there? Did you understand my example?
No, sir. Sorry.
Suppose, now what's your name?
Omkar.
Omkar. Suppose now Omkar, you are a resident of India. Omkar is a resident of India, and Omkar is rendering some services to America. You are providing some services to America. So in that situation, what do you expect from America? Yes, Omkar.
So, sir,
Yes.
expectation from America is to give me some uh, uh, exchange between for that
Yes.
transaction.
Yes, exactly. So Omkar is expecting a sort of remuneration from America. America will pay to Omkar maybe in because America's currency is dollar. So in terms of dollar, a sort of remuneration will be paid to Omkar. Now here, if you are thinking from countryside, now Omkar is a citizen of, he is a resident of India. Okay. Now, when India prepares balance of payment, so here it will be because here Omkar is exporting services. It is nothing but the export, because there could be either import or export of either goods or services. Now here I have purposely taken the example that Omkar is providing some services to America. So when services are provided from India to America, so from Indian point of view, this is import or export?
Export.
Yes, export, exactly. Now, at least you are aware that what is export and what is import. So from India point of view, it is export. Now, when we export services, so this particular transaction will have credit effect, because India will be receiving dollar from America. So this will be in BOP, there are debit as well as credit. So it is based on double entry system. We know what is double entry system, that there are two transactions recorded, debit as well as credit. So here the balance of payment of a country is a systematic record of all economic transactions during a given period of time. Now, during given period of time, generally it may be a quarter or maybe year also, either quarter or year, but generally it is on a yearly basis. It is on yearly basis, and between the resident of country and to the rest of world, to the resident of foreign countries, rest of world. Second feature of balance of payment is economic transaction means. Now, what is economic transaction? It means transfer of economic value from one economic agent to another. It is nothing but the transfer of economic value from one economic agent to another. Now here, Omkar is one economic agent. Okay. And Omkar is giving services to America. He is providing some services to America. So that is another economic agent, because they are receiving. And Omkar is giver. He is giving services. So here economic transactions are involved in this case. So again, I repeat, balance of payment is nothing, but it is the systematic record of all economic transactions during a given period of time between the resident of country and with the rest of world. And there has to be economic transaction. It means transfer of economic value from one person to another country. Now, the second slide which speaks about components of BOP. What are the components of balance of payment? So basically, there are three components of balance of payment. The first component is current account. There is a current account. Now, what is current account? Current account which includes import and export of good, as well as services also. Here I have not written services, but you can add. It includes import and export of goods as well as services. And what is capital account? Now let me complete first this current account. Import and export of goods. Sometimes India might be exporting. Suppose if India exports jute to other countries, so that is the example of goods. if India exporting spices or maybe tea powder to other countries. So that is the example of export. Not every time we are exporting, but sometimes we are also importing, like oil. We import oil from other countries. Can you give some example of import? India imports what? What are the goods of import for India? Yes. Can you share me some example? Yes, please. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So can you give me some example of import? What we import from?
Electrical machineries, equipments, etc.
Yes, equipment, electronic components, machinery. So these are the items we generally import from the other country. Now, this entire import and export, when we export, so how it is being accounted in balance of payment, then there is it is being written under positive side, because when we export material, it means we receive foreign currency from other countries. Am I correct? If we are exporting, means we are expecting foreign currency from other countries. बरोबर है ना?
Yes, sir.
So it will be on a positive side. Vice versa, when we import, as you said, electronic equipments or electronic goods, so that time, vice versa, it will be on a negative sign, because our currency will be going to the other countries. Our currency will go to the other countries. Now here, there will be import as well as there will be export. But when export exceeds import, then the balance will be surplus one. The balance of payment will be surplus one. Please try to understand my explanation. When export exceeds import, then there will be a surplus BOP. Surplus BOP. And if it is surplus BOP, it is appreciable. Means everyone likes surplus BOP, because you are exporting. When you export, you are getting foreign currency. So it is good sign. Vice versa, if there is a large amount of import, it means a lot of money will go from our country to other country. So the other way, our currency will decline and the foreign currency will appreciate. So if I ask you, which will be the best for country, the first transaction or the second one? More export or more import? Which is good for country?
Sir, more export.
More export. So if there is a more export, means there will be a surplus BOP, and if there is a more import, then there will be a deficit BOP. So whenever you heard news of that there is a deficit BOP, so it is a little bit worry for Indian economy. There has to be serious thought that how it is to be controlled, and that is why government many times they curb import. They charge heavy amount of duty on the import. Sometimes they also charge heavy amount of taxes on the import. Means government is discouraging import. Vice versa, in regards to the export, government encourages, government supports export. So the current account, which covers all type of import as well as export of goods and services. Second component is capital good. Apart from this goods and services, there are also some capital, as you gave me the example of electronic equipments or electronic components. So this comes under capital account. So changes in foreign assets and liabilities. Now, to clear this particular concept, suppose India exports jute. India is exporting jute. So this is the example of capital account, because we are exporting jute to the other country. So this is the example of capital account. Vice versa, suppose now in Pune, we are going for a metro. So for metro, if we are importing for metro, if you are importing some material from outside country, then this is also another example of capital account. So foreign assets and liabilities are having changes in this capital account. And then third one is a reserve account. Now this reserve account, basically it is for whenever there is a deficit of balance of payment, then it has to be fill the gap. This gap has to be filled with the help of IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. So International Monetary Fund has some special provision, and they also have the head, and under that head they may help India to bridge this gap, because India is facing deficit BOP. So in order to cope up this deficit BOP, then Indian government will ask help from IMF, and then IMF may give some amount. So that amount comes under the reserve account. So basically these are the three components of balance of payment: current account, capital account, and reserve account. Now, if you look at statistics, let me share with you right from 1991, because 1991, it is the year when there was economic reformations started in India. A lot of changes happened in economics, particularly after 1991, because it is the year which is known for LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. It is the year for LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. From if you observe 1991-92, you will see that there was a large amount of deficit BOP. But as you come to the 2004 and 2005, the situation changed. And the reason for this situation was, by the time India started huge amount of software export. Now here, we were not into the technology, but engineers and technical support was from India. And because of this technical support, because of this manpower support, we were able to balance this BOP. So from deficit BOP, I will not say that we have come to the surplus BOP, but we have minimized the deficit BOP. Prior to 2004, there was a huge amount of deficit BOP. But once in 2004-5, the amount was reduced substantially, and that effect is just because of this current account export of software services, export of software services. This was the reason. Then this IMF we have discussed. I think in last session we have discussed this IMF. Today our point is more about BOP, that is balance of payment. Any doubts in regarding to the balance of payment before I go to the emerging challenges for international finance?
No, sir. No doubts.
Okay, so let's go to the another point, that is issues involved with international finance or challenges in regards to the international finance challenges. Are you able to see this PPT?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me share with you a word of currencies. Now, as we all are aware that every country has its own currency, and there are a few currencies who are having dominant position over the world, and particularly those currencies are pound, dollar, and euro. These three currencies basically they are having a dominant position over the world. Which are those currencies? Can you share?
Pound, dollar, and euro.
Euro, pound, dollar, and euro. These three currencies are having dominant position over the world. Now, when dealing with international finance, one has to face the problem of having different currencies and how to exchange one for another through exchange rates. So, since you are a student of financial management specialization, and if you are working a firm where there is international finance, so you will have this kind of challenge, and these problems are there. Different currencies, there will be different currencies, and how to exchange from one to another through exchange rate. Again, this is one of the challenge for you. Now we are talking about the emerging challenges in regards to the international finance. So being a manager, you will have to monitor the exchange rate very minutely. What are the exchange rate, and then why there is a change in exchange rate? That analysis you will have to observe. You will have to have the analysis of exchange rate. Exchange rate might be because of political, maybe because of economical, political, and maybe because of natural also. There are some calamities are there, and because of that calamities, there is a change in exchange rate. Second one is the number of national currencies remain very high. Notwithstanding, 17 national currencies have disappeared with the introduction of the euro. So last time also I told you about 9 nations, they came together and they established the new currency, and the name is euro. And basically they wanted to fight, or I will not say fight, but they wanted to have substitute for dollar. So after earlier there was only dollar, but in a recent time along with the dollar, euro, and pound are also the noteworthy. Not only money and bank deposits, but also financial assets are denominated in a national currency. Then, in regards to the fourth one, reserve currencies are those mostly used in international transactions. That is US dollar, euro, yen, and even British pound also. So reserve currency, it comes under the reserve currencies. But in regards to the oil prices, US dollar is still used to price oil. So there, euro is not involved. Please try to understand this. In regards to the oil, crude oil, what we use diesel and petrol in our vehicle. So we have to export crude oil from these Gulf countries. So whenever we import crude oil from these Gulf countries, the payment is being made in terms of dollar. We have to make payment in terms of dollar. The next one is central banks normally hold relevant quantities of reserve currencies to use in the money to exchange market for their operation in addition to gold. So apart from gold, we have learned in last session, that is Bretton Woods system. Do you remember Bretton Woods system? आठवते का Bretton Woods system? Gold standard. Before World War, this was exist, but after First World War, Bretton Woods system introduced two organizations, that is International Monetary Fund and World Bank. So World Bank introduced a paper currency along with the gold. And if you would like to print paper currency, so that much gold has to be deposited. So this way, central bank does the printing of currency. Say central bank, for example, Reserve Bank of India, if they would like to go for printing of currency notes, so that much gold has to be deposited with the Reserve Bank of India, and it has to be shown to the International Monetary Fund, and then only we are allowed to print notes. Then the International Monetary Fund special drawings rights, that is SDR. SDR stand for special drawings rights. Please remember this long form, SDR. SDR stand for special drawings rights. Is an international currency elevate? It is not physical, but only serves as an accounting unit. And the last one is the US dollar still accounts for 60% of all international reserve. So that much quota which goes to the US dollar. Now, if you are asked, maybe in interview or maybe in examination, what is international finance? Please remember this bullet point which I have shown on the screen. International finance, it is nothing but international finance. It deals with domestic bank as well as international bank. Then international finance also deals with the exporter. There are also intermediaries. There are tariffs and trades like say GATT and WTO, World Trade Organization. There are forex market. International finance deals with international laws and taxes. If you are into the cross-border business, then one has to study with the international laws and taxes, because just studying our domestic law will not be sufficient in order to have success in international business. So what are the international laws and what are the tax structure? We need to understand. Then we have to have study of our importer and government, because government plays a vital role in international business. There are I mean to say that we need to observe the environmental condition, environmental condition. Then what is the difference between DF? DF stand for domestic finance and IF for international finance. What is the difference between domestic finance and international finance? If you are asked the difference between domestic finance and international finance. So there are basically three dimensions: forex and political risk. Now, it is always associated. Now, even if you take an example of China, now we know that China market is one of the aggressive market as compared to other countries. It is one of the aggressive market, China market. Why it is aggressive market? Because their products are much cheaper. Even if you take an example of say battery or toys, so China toys are cheaper as compared to even our own toys. But now recently, even on 1st of February, when budget was presented, our government has imposed, they have introduced the dumping. Now, what is dumping? Dumping means most of the unused things are being sold to the other countries. That is known as dumping. So China is one of the example. China always dumps many products in our market. Even if you observe in a festival like say Diwali, so lantern, what we say, lantern. So even that lanterns are being manufactured by China, and these things are coming directly to the Indian market. So this is the example of dumping. Then market imperfection. So this is one of the major cause between this domestic finance and international finance. Expanded opportunity scenario. Now, as far as India concerned, now we are having good opportunity in the information technology, in IT, because if you observe, most of the foreign IT companies, they have opened their branches in India, like in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, these metro cities. Even in Pune, from last 15 to 20 years, now Pune has changed just because of IT sector. There are other sectors also, like automobile sector is there, but IT sector has done tremendous changes in Pune city. So opportunity scenario. Another is differencing elements, exposure to risk. Yeah. Now, when we talk about international finance, inevitably risk is involved. So in order to minimize the risk, so there are several tools and techniques are available. Transaction risk, economic risk. So such tools should be used by manager. Then subject to market imperfection. So this is the economic term, market imperfection. Options for multiplicity of portfolio. Every company, they should go for multiple product mix. There has to be product mix. Now, let me give the example. Suppose if you're talking about say in regards to the sugar factory. So sugar, it is one thing, but along with the sugar, whatever molasses comes out of that molasses, then we can have a byproduct from sugar also. Can you name some example of a byproduct of sugar? Sugar industry is byproduct. Sugar is the main product. What are the byproduct of sugar industry?
Jaggery.
Jaggery is the byproduct. Yes. Any other? Even paper is also a byproduct of sugar, and liquor is byproduct of sugar, liquor. So jaggery, paper and liquor, these are the byproduct of sugar. Now this product mix, if you can able to launch systematically at an international level, then there are good openings at the door of international finance. So domestic product, we are introducing into the multi product or a product mix along with the byproduct. Then access to global market. Now fortunately, India has substantial good access to the global market in terms of even food, grain, for software, and even for other areas also. We have access to the global market as well. Our market is also open for the foreign competitors because of our population, because we have great good amount of population. So most of the countries, they are keeping eye on the Indian market. So everyone would like to enter into the Indian market. So whenever they would like to enter into the Indian market, so it is the opportunity with the government by charging amount of taxes and maybe imposing duty. So this way government gets revenue from this business. Now issues involved in international finance. What are the issues involved in international finance? The first issue is varied economic system. So in case of India, we follow mixed economic system. In regards to the China, so their economic system is totally different. So in international scenario, every country, they have their different economic system. Some are having mixed economic system, some are having monopoly, and because of this different economic system, accordingly they develop their own strategies and system, and along with that they enter into the international finance. Then there might be tariff or no tariff barriers, but now GATT has come, that is general agreement on tariff and GATT, trade and tariff. So GATT, they have imposed several taxes on these transactions. Third one is political risk. Political risk. Now suppose if you are dealing with America, now recently a few months back, there was a presidential election. Earlier the president was Donald Trump. Now Joe Biden is new president of America, USA, Joe Biden. Earlier there was a Donald Trump. So when presidents changes, it also has impact on international finance because of their policies. New strategies may come. Now even in India also. Why America? Even in India now, from last 7-8 years, you all are witness that one party is ruling India, that is Bharatiya Janata Paksha, BJP. But we don't know that maybe after, say, when election comes, next election, central election, If this party continues, then there will be political stability. If there is a change, naturally the policies will also change. So these are some political risks. So now if you are working in international finance, you need to, as a management student, you need to understand what is happening in other countries, maybe in China, maybe in America, maybe in our own country. And because of this change in political situation, you will have to have business strategy. Then next issue is environmental safeguards. Environmental safeguards. So this is also one of the buzzing point at international finance. Because of environment, nowadays everyone talks about green technology. Have you heard this word, green technology? What do you mean by green technology? Yes. You might have heard word green technology. What do you mean by green technology? Yes. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So what is green technology? See, even when budget was presented on 1st of February, government has given concessions to the electric vehicles, EV. Now electric vehicle maybe another after 4 or 5 months, maybe within a 1 year time, you will see a lot of electric vehicles on the road. Today also a few vehicles are running on the road. If you compare our neighboring state, Goa, so in Goa, the buses are, most of the buses are electric vehicle, on electric, battery operated two-wheelers. So these are some environmental safeguards. Now, because of this environment, what business you are looking into this environmental safeguard? Now, even our government is also supporting, means they want to minimize the import of oil. Our government would like to minimize the import of oil, and they are encouraging electric vehicle and battery operated vehicle. Now, because of this policy, as a management student, what opportunities you are realizing? What are the opportunities for automobile sector? Yes. What will be the opportunity for automobile sector? Or there is no opportunity for automobile sector? Can you answer me? Can you answer me? Hello? See, for automobile sector, there is a new opportunity that if we manufacture electric vehicle, so in near future time, there will be good demand for electric vehicle, because even now government has declared a subsidy for purchase of electric vehicle. Are you aware of this? Government is giving subsidy for purchase of electric vehicle. माहिती है का तुम्हाला? Government is allowing subsidy. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So why government is allowing subsidy? Because they wanting to have more and more battery vehicle or electric vehicle in our country, so that there will be a lesser use of petrol and diesel, because we want to minimize the use of petrol and diesel. So because of this environmental safeguard, I can see this new business into the automobile sector. Then dumping. Now, what is dumping? What is dumping?
Dumping means selling the goods to another country which we are not required.
Yes,
As
the goods which is not required in their own country, they are selling into our country. So that is known as dumping. म्हणजे कचरा विकायचा दुसऱ्या देशात. Now, China is the example. China is selling most of the goods in India at a cheaper rate. And the examples are, many examples are there. Day-to-day things and most of the things made by China. And literally, it becomes headache for ourselves as well as for a nation also, that how to dispose of this material, because it is available at a cheaper rate. So people, they buy, and maybe after use of 4-5 months, then it becomes obsolete, and then it is the headache for a nation for disposing of, how to dispose of. And now that is why government is charging dumping duty on these goods, so that if there is more and more dumping duty on the goods, that good will not come to our country, and this way we can have a barrier for this particular good. The next issue is cultural differences. This is one of the, now when we deal with European countries, so their culture, their psychological aspects are different and ours are different. But again, if you would like to have business in other countries, you need to understand their culture. Then only you can have dealing with that country. Am I correct? If you do not study their culture, then you may not be able to sell your goods or services to other countries. Am I correct? It is necessary to study culture or not? Yeah, it is necessary. We need to understand their culture, and then only we can sell their country. Then language differences. Now, if you are talking about the worldwide, most of the countries, their official language is English, but particularly in European countries, which is their language, European country? English is one of the language which is widely used in America, even Pakistan, India, China. But I'm asking you about the European country, which is the official language in European country? French. Okay. French is the official language in European countries. So that language is being widely used, so that they don't speak even in English also. If you're dealing in European countries, they don't speak in English. They start with French language. So if you are dealing in a European country, then you have to have a knowledge of that French language. Then only you will be able to conversate. You can have a conversation with them. Even why we should talk about other, since our subject is international finance, that is why I'm giving you the example of other countries. But if you're talking our own country, now in Maharashtra, our official language is Marathi, but we also have a conversation in Hindi. Even if Hindi, if someone speaks in Hindi, we understand. But if you go to the south, that is Tamil Nadu and Kerala, do they speak Hindi? Kerala and Tamil Nadu, are they fluent in Hindi? No, they are not fluent in Hindi, though they are a part of India, and Hindi is our official language, that is our national language, Hindi, but still they do not have conversation in Hindi. They start with their either Malayalam or Telugu. But at least for Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, we are even Gujarat also, they understand Hindi, they speak Hindi. Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh it is Hindi only, and Maharashtra. But This is the problem. Hindi problem. It is particularly in South state like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. These states, they do not follow Hindi language. Then another issue, that is intellectual property right, IPR. But now this issue, I will not say now it is being issued. Now that there are a lot of solutions that have come at the international level. You can register your rights with the international agency, and you can protect your technology, and you can protect your knowledge also. So now this is, I will not say now this has been issued now, but only theft and people unofficially they violate the rules, like say even software also. So there is a pirated software, official software and pirated software. If you are using official software, then you will have to pay certain charges to the agency. But most of the people, they go for the pirated software. So for pirated software, it is at a zero cost or no cost is there, or maybe a little bit cost is there. So people, most of the people, they go for pirated software. But again, at the international level, they have been successful to maintain the barriers. Then cyber crime. This is one of the crucial area in international finance, cyber crime. As we are prone to the technology, information technology, but again, there are hackers. They are having several ideas with them, and they hack the accounts of important agencies, and even sometimes government accounts are also being hacked by hackers. Now, in order to face this challenge, now ethical hackers have come. Are you aware about the ethical hackers? Hackers and ethical hackers? Are you aware about this? Ethical hacker and hacker. Ethical hacker are controlling the hackers strategy. So now ethical hackers, even in India also, if you're talking about in Pune, we have a separate cell for cyber crime, and they have ethical hackers. So they watch at an international level. Then transfer pricing, international taxation. These are some issues in international finance. Let me take you to the another slide, that is credit rating agencies. Credit rating. Now, what is this credit rating? Let me tell you. There are credit rating agencies like CRISIL, CARE, who provides rating of instrument. Their job is to provide rating of instrument. Now, what is this providing services to the rating instrument? Now, suppose if your company is going for debenture, so for debenture, there are rates are given. AAA. AAA stand for highest safety. AA stand for safe, and D stand for default. So with this indication, investor decide whether to invest in this instrument or not. So this is the job of credit rating agencies. So this was about unit 1. The next session we'll start with the unit 2. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And next session we will start unit number 2.